averages look absolutely fantastic. But you know how I feel about what happened yesterday. I don't want to get cocky about this market. Why I don't want to get cocky? Because it's not oversold. We do not have any real bounces that I think can get us going. So keep that in mind. Even in Eli Lilly, I'm going to get back to that in a second, was up 100. Now it's up almost half that. That's the kind of action that I find very prohibitive. Why are the markets doing okay today? Believe it or not, the jobless claims came in lower than expected. We're now on a recession watch. So anything that contrary to the recession watch, anything contrary to recession, makes the market feel better. Right? And therefore, you buy stocks that have economic impact. A stock like Parker Hannifin, PH, which, by the way, I totally wish I had this morning because it's an aerospace play. And we've got Honeywell, which is not doing the job that I would like it to. I think this whole idea of a recession game, where we're trying to figure out what the percentage chance of recession, is completely bogus. JP Morgan raises its recession odds to 35 from 25. Can we just? That's not serious thinking. That's fatuous thinking. They don't know, and they shouldn't say. Now, okay, Eli Lilly was a legitimate blowout on every single line. This is a multi-billion-dollar blowout. $3 billion in revenue, $2.37 billion was expected. This is not as good, by the way, as the amazing NVIDIA $4 billion upside that nobody expected, but it still does matter. Mounjaro, these are the two Mounjaros for diabetes, 3.09 billion versus 2.3. That's the big upside when I'm talking about. And Zepbound is 1.24 versus 818. So you've got all those. If you add them all up, you have a revenue outlook is bumped by $3 billion. And so there you say, okay, well, that's bumped by $3 billion. NVIDIA bumped by $4 billion. Those are the two best upside quarters in the last, say, year and a half. And that's why Lilly deserves to trade higher. That said, if you just bought Lilly, I think maybe you take off a little, because even though I think that the quarter is absolutely good and tomorrow everyone's going to re-recommend and raise price target, I think that the $3 billion upside was expected. Even though people thought it was unexpected, what really happens is behind the scenes, it's known as the whisper. It was expected. So just beware that this is a stock where if you bought, say, 100 shares here, or anyone there, I mean, I know that I would be tempted to take 25 shares off if we weren't restricted. So there's my wrap on Eli Lilly. Why is Lilly doing so well? One, they have the manufacturing capacity. Almost nobody has that capacity. Two, their actual drug does better than the Wegovy, which is owned by Novo Nordisk. When I say does better, it loses 20% weight instead of the 15 to 20% that Wegovy has. You do not have to wait a half hour after you take it out of the refrigerator. If you're using the Zepbound Mounjaro, you do if you have Wegovy. There's a couple other things that make it that made this quarter really interesting. David Ricks this morning, was talking about multiple studies that we don't even know yet that they're using it for. The biggest one, by the way, we now kind of know that alcohol may be the single worst thing that you ingest. And they would love to do a study, I believe, that shows you that there's tremendous decline in the use of alcohol, but they're going to be blocked by that. I think the AA lobby is very powerful, and meaning that they want you to lose it, become, let's say, part of a very important club to be able to make it so that you have willpower. And I think that this drug is uniquely going to be used for someone who doesn't have willpower. And the way I always like to look at it is to say that this is a drug that makes it so that diet and exercise are revealed as two things that don't work. And I know that's tough for a lot of people, whether you belong to Planet Fitness or whether you're a fitness nut or you're trying to eat the right thing. It is absolutely true that diet and exercise have failed most Americans. And that is the reason why that drug is so strong and why Lilly stock is strong. Now let's go over Costco monthly numbers. Total comparable sales ex FX and gas increased 7.2%. That's better than what we saw in June. U.S. comparable ex gas increased 6.3%. Traffic up 6.3%. Food and sundries up mid-single digit. Fresh food up high single digit. A lot of profit there. Non-food up low double digit. These are incredible numbers. The stock deserves to be higher on these. Don't forget the membership fee increase kicks in September 1. So you've got that to look forward to. I would still be a buyer of Costco. Yesterday, we bought more AMD. And the reason we bought more AMD is because we know that Intel is not doing well on the low end. And it's a nice hedge against NVIDIA if Blackwell is really delayed. What I understand about Blackwell is it runs too hot. But everyone's happy with the H200s, which can be integrated with Blackwell until Blackwell's ready, and maybe it ships in volume during the last month of the fourth quarter, or maybe it ships in volume next year. I don't know, but I think that AMD is the way to play it. I would get even bigger in this stock. I think that 132 is ridiculous. I think it belongs between 150 and 160. We bought some more Wells Fargo. The banks dropped precipitously in 3 days, whether they were good or bad. Wells Fargo, well, this is very nice. Wells Fargo had a good, not great quarter, but the buyback is huge, and management, Charlie Scharf, is doing a remarkable job. So I continue to believe that you could buy Wells Fargo right here, right now. And Nextracker, which is a company that reported a good quarter. I mean, GE Vernova, which is not as good a company, I think, but does alternative energy, has held up much better than Nextracker. Nextracker had lumpier quarter than we would have liked, and therefore it's really broken down. And yet at the same time, I think it's doing very, very well. I would buy that stock right here. Now, I see that Emerson's back up. Anybody can recover. Let's talk about what we sold. Abbott Labs and Procter & Gamble. We sold Abbott Labs because it's going to lose the next court suit. And we were surprised the stock went from 100 to 111. We know it's going to lose the next court suit because it's in a very bad jurisdiction for the defendants. So you'll have to deal with the negativity of that again. And after that, most of the cases are going to be in federal suits. And the federal judge, all federal judges run a tighter courtroom than states, and this will no longer happen. So this is trimming Abbott in advance of the loss in the next lawsuit in September. Procter. Obviously premature because it continues to go higher, but that's all right because we have a lot left. Why are we selling Procter & Gamble? Well, because Procter & Gamble had a legitimately bad quarter, certainly disappointing from my point of view. The stock was at 169 when they reported. It dropped to 162 in a heartbeat. And then because we had the rotation for Procter, what happened? Well, the stock came all the way back. That means sell, not buy. Disney, I continue to believe that the problem with Disney is personnel. And they obviously had someone running theme parks who just was not up to snuff. They have to get rid of him or her and put somebody in who knows more about theme parks. All right, let's do rapid fire. Warner Brothers Discovery, $9.1 billion non-cash write-down. I mean, this is one where something has to happen. It just can't. It can't just continue to drip like this. But I will tell you that when you look up the individual bonds, it's not that bad. It's not doing that poorly. Reddit. Okay, so Reddit's doing a little better than expected. You know, a lot of these. Remember, I told you yesterday, Pinterest is not that good right now, and the Snap's not that good, but Reddit is good. Well, Reddit's getting the credit that it deserves today. It didn't have yesterday. Dutch Bro, I have them on tonight. It was an incredibly confusing quarter, maybe one of the most confusing quarters of the year. And the analysts were very upset at the end of it. We'll cover that.